Canada is known for peace, beauty, and new beginnings. A land where people from all over the world come to build a better life. But even the calmest places can sometimes hide the darkest stories. This is the heartbreaking true story of the Gakal family. A family who came to Canada full of hope and dreams. They worked hard, stayed close, and believed in giving their children a brighter future. But just days before a joyful wedding, their lives were torn apart by an act so brutal that it left the entire nation in silence. Karnal Singh Gakal moved to Canada in the 1970s. He left behind a comfortable life in India because he wanted his children to have better opportunities. He worked day and night doing whatever job he could find. He picked fruit in the orchards, worked long hours operating machines, and saved every single dollar he earned. He faced struggles, loneliness, and exhaustion, but he never complained. He always said that one day his family would live a life full of dignity and peace. After years of sacrifice, Karnal finally brought his wife and daughters to British Columbia. Together they built a small but happy home filled with love and warmth. They celebrated festivals, cooked traditional food, and taught their children to respect their roots. Each of the children grew up with strong values and big dreams. One became a social worker, another a dentist, another a pharmacist, and others continued their studies hoping to become engineers and professionals. It was every immigrant parent's dream coming true. But that happiness slowly turned into heartbreak when Karnal's daughter Rajoir married a man named Mark Chahal. At first, Mark seemed like a good man. He was educated, polite, and successful. He worked as a chartered accountant and presented himself as calm and respectful. The Gakal family welcomed him with open arms. But soon after the marriage, the truth began to reveal itself. Behind closed doors, Mark was controlling, jealous, and violent. He constantly questioned Rajoir about where she went and who she spoke to. He accused her of things she never did and slowly isolated her from her friends. From their very first night together, the abuse began. He shouted, insulted, and hit her. Rajoir stayed silent for months, afraid of shame and judgment. She believed that with patience he would change, but the violence only grew worse. Finally, she made the brave decision to leave and return to her parents' home. Her family embraced her with love and support. They reminded her that she was not alone. But Mark could not accept it. He grew more and more furious. He started sending death threats and bought illegal guns. No one could have imagined how far his rage would go. On April 5, 1996, just 2 days before her sister's wedding, the family gathered at their home in Vernon, British Columbia. It was supposed to be a day of joy. The house was full of laughter, music, and the smell of mehendi as women sang traditional wedding songs. But outside, Mark Chahal was waiting in his car with 2 guns. He watched the lights in the house and waited for his moment. Then he walked to the front door and everything changed forever. He first shot Karnal Singh Gakal outside the house. Then he stormed inside, firing at everyone he saw. Within minutes, he had killed 9 members of the Gakal family, including women, children, and elders. Screams filled the air. The walls that once heard laughter now echoed with cries of terror. The home that had been built with decades of love turned into a place of unimaginable tragedy. When it was over, only 4 people survived, 3 young girls and their grandmother. After the massacre, Mark returned to his hotel room and ended his own life. The news of the Gakal family tragedy spread across Canada like wildfire. People could not understand how one man's jealousy and anger could destroy an entire family in just a few minutes. The whole nation mourned. Candlelight vigils were held and people came together to support the surviving family members. It became a painful reminder of the hidden violence that can exist even behind smiling faces. In the years that followed, the surviving members turned their grief into purpose. They raised money for women's aid organizations across Canada and spoke out against domestic violence. They wanted to ensure that no other daughter or family would suffer the same fate. Phoenixes like them rise from ashes, and so did they with courage and compassion. They rebuilt their lives slowly and carried forward the message that silence can be deadly. The Gakal family came to Canada with dreams of peace and progress. But one man's rage shattered those dreams in moments. This story reminds us of how dangerous unchecked anger and jealousy can be. It is a lesson for all of us to pay attention to the warning signs and to help those who live in fear behind closed doors. Friends, let us honor the memory of the Gakal family by spreading awareness, compassion, and strength. No one should ever have to suffer in silence. If you found this story meaningful, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more true crime and real-life stories. Your support helps us bring untold stories to light and reminds the world that even in tragedy there can be hope, courage, and change.